Yo, what's up everybody, Nice with you here, bringing you Black Clover anime review. This is episode 91, titled Mereoleona versus Raia, the Disloyal. Now this was a very hyped episode. An episode that I was actually waiting for a while. This is actually one of my top 3 fights in the series. I would have to say I put this as number 2. Number 1 and number 3 have not been shown yet, so I don't want to give no spoilers, but for manga readers, y'all probably can guess what 2 fights I'm talking about. But this was very interesting. We get to see everybody of the Royal Knights groups do a little bit of something. We have Luck going ham. He used this weird technique called I think it was Thunder Link or Thunder Chain, something like that. But basically he throws like a thunderbolt and then he links himself with it and he follows it around, zipping around to pick up speed and strength. And he's taking out people. Then we have Mimosa's brother, Noel, and that one dude with the copper magic who took out in the finals, semifinals. We have him, he's there, and they're taking out some people. And you have Noel talking smack about him, saying, someone like you who got beat by us so easily, I'm surprised you were selected to become a Royal Knight. And he kind of looked at Noel wrong and he was like, you have no right to speak because you ain't do nothing. It was who took us out by himself. And she's like, doesn't matter. And I'm like, how does it not matter? Noel would have got slapped if she had to fight that team. But Noel's Noel. She's royalty, so she's cocky like that and she's annoying. But we have their little talk, and he wasn't really mean or arguing with her. He was just stating the facts. But you can tell Noel felt some type of way about it because he was talking back, even though she started this engagement, because she had to say what she said to him. But it's what it is. But it's nice though, because there was a point to this whole conversation, and the point was, and then off of him saying that if I don't keep up with my strength and finish this mission right, I'm gonna get punched in the face by Mereoleona, which that's the captain he's under, because she took over her brother's squad. So, which was the Red Lions, if I'm not mistaken, is the name of their squad. And we get to see everyone else, throw hands and stuff, and Asta and his group. And then we get this one interesting shot where it was like Asta, Mereoleona, and Zora, who they're the only team that's a member of 3. Every other team got 4 or 5 members, 4 members. This is the only team with 3, because one guy had to stay behind to cast anti-magic on the area, so no one could sneak in or out. Which I'm happy they explained that. But they basically take out this group of mages, Asta, Zora, and Mereoleona, with ease. But then, as they continue to talk and walk forward, there's actually 2 Astas talking in the back. And Asta's like, who are you? And the other one's like, who are you? And they arguing, and Zora was like, what the heck is going on? And Mereoleona was like, one of y'all are fake. Who is it? And the 2 Astas are going back and forth. I'm the real one. I'm the real one. He's a fake. No, he's a fake. I have an anti-magic sword. So do I. I got the book. So do I. And they just keep going back and forth. So Mereoleona, of course, this hot temper as she is, she got upset. And she's like, I have a way we can figure this out real quick. And she set both of them on fire. And I was like, oh, that was hilarious how she did that. She didn't really care. And then Asta took her sword and he dismantled it. He was like, hey, you trying to kill me? And she smiled and she looked at him and she said something that kind of made Asta kind of happy. She was like, I don't remember bringing a weakling with me. Something like that wasn't going to kill you anyway. So he kind of smiled. And then we see who that fake Asta was. It was actually Raia. And he uses this weird water magic to purify himself and clean himself of the flames, while at the same time healing himself. And as the title of this episode states, Mereoleona versus Raia the Disloyal, we get them fighting through the whole episode. And the fight was amazing. I know I usually bash on the art and animation recently on Black Clover, but I have to admit, in this episode it was done really well. The art and animation, you could even hear the good sound effects in the back. It was low, but it was there. And it was a really good fight. You have this one scene where she punches him and she sends him flying to another room. And in that room, she tells Asta and Zora to stay back, and that's when she starts to fight him. And you see Raia is doing all these different techniques. And then it comes to a point where he uses Yami technique, and he does it the same stance and the same name and everything, and he throws it at her. But she punches at it, and when she punches the dark slash, it actually gets like incinerated right there in an instant. And everyone is like, "Oh my God, it's insane magic and power." And Viga was like, "You shouldn't be happy with magic that you've bestowed." And I just keep saying Viga, but I mean Vaya. Vaya, he says that, and then he also says something about, if you wasn't royalty, I'd probably take you out to a drink. And she flirts back and she was like, "Be careful, I drink a lot." So it was funny to seeing these two go back and forth where they fighting and they smart talking. But during this fight, Mereoleona said something very interesting. When Raia used that Yami technique, the dark slash dimension, on her, and she punched it, she was like, "This power has nothing compared to the original wielder." But she knows who the original wielder is, and that's Captain Yami. So this is solidifying that Captain Yami is a lot stronger than he's been but that he's been shown to be. Because there's this thing going around on the internet, how strong is Yami? Because we have not seen Yami go like full out yet against anybody. He's been in tight predicaments, but only really one, and that's the one where he learns the dimension slash and the water temple. But other than that, he has never really been in a predicament that's like a crisis where he has to break his limit. Besides the one where he says when he fight Lynch and the 3 Midnight Eyes, he was like, "I'm about to break my limit," and he was right, he was. But since the 3 captains stepped in, he didn't get to break his limit that time, but he broke it again, finally at the right time, in the water temple. So this brings up how strong is Yami. The fact that he copied Yami's perfect technique in the stance, and he shot at her, and she slapped it down, and she even stated that this is far weaker than the original wielder, and she knows the original holder very well. Her and her brother are close to Yami, as we've seen in certain flashbacks and stuff. They're not like best friends close, but they do know of each other, and they have sparred before. So this shows how strong Captain Yami really is, and how he's on a completely different level. That even this guy, the third eye son, who's Captain level plus, because he got the third eye awakening, even his technique of perfect copying was still inferior to Yami, the original wielder of it. So that's also very interesting. And another thing to note that a lot of people, even manga readers, didn't really notice this, and I notice a lot of people are not talking about it. As powerful as Mereoleona is, and as powerful as she's hitting this guy, you have to remember about, I think it was like 10 or 15 episodes back, the bathtub scene when everyone was in the hot springs. If you remember, Mereoleona herself stated, "Even though I have an infinity magic that is stronger against your mother's magic, I was never able to ever beat your mother." So you have to imagine, how powerful is Noelle's mother if she would have been alive? That would have been scary. Just throwing that out there, that's food for thought, because she died when she gave birth to Noelle. But if Mereoleona can never beat Noelle's mother, imagine if Noelle's mother would have continued to like train and got stronger and didn't die when she gave birth to Noelle. Imagine how strong she would have been. Most likely she would have still been a captain. She probably would have been the captain of the Silver Eagles, and not Silver himself. Just throwing that theory out there. But as the episode continues, we also learn how Raia was able to take people's magic. And it's very interesting because all he has to do is touch the grimoire. The instant he touches your grimoire, he knows every magic spell that you have in there at that time, and he can use it the same exact way and better than you. These are two things that he can do, but he has to touch your grimoire in order for him to copy it. And he was able to copy Asta because when he copied Asta's physical form, he was able to get close up and touch his book, which we've seen in the flashback that they showed us when he was explaining his, power. When Raia was explaining his own powers to them. He even tried to copy Asta's magic sword, anti-magic demon sword, but Mereoleona punched right through it, and she's like, even though you can copy its form, you can't copy its mystical attributes / power, because you have to actually have anti-magic in your body for you to use a sword like Asta's. Which it's very unique, because it was stated that Lynch, the leader of the elves, had 2 demon spell swords, and they even said that that Asta's grimoire is actually his, and they also stated that he has the highest level of magic that all elves do. They were known to be blessed by the gods to have the highest magic, so it's kind of weird that the leader of the elves, Lynch, was the most powerful elf at that time with the highest magic, yet he also had anti-swords. So does that mean he had two magic? An anti-pool magic and a regular pool magic? Just bringing that for more food for thought. But then we get the end of the episode with Yuno and his squad going into a room where they keep hearing a heartbeat. It's faint, but it's getting louder and louder. And when we get to that room, we see this mystical elf in a bright light with long white hair in that light. And that's when the episode ends. Now, if you look at that elf, and you look at the elf that Ragnar was talking to in his flashback, his name was Lynch, the same as the Lynch that we know of. But though it's two different bodies. So I'm not sure if these two Lynches are connected. Are they father and son, the same being, just separated, entities? Or is our Lynch lying and he's not the real Lynch, and this guy's the real Lynch and he's somebody else? It's very interesting. If you look at the Black Clover history of the elves and the witches and the Diamond Kingdom, the Spade and the Hearts and all that, really, really intense history, and I'm loving how deep we get into it and all the power system. And I have to say that all the power system and Shaolin manga, I would have to rank Black Clover about 3 or 4 around there. Of course, JoJo and Hunter x Hunter is going to be 1 and 2, hands down. Even though for me, I put Hunter x Hunter a little bit above JoJo, then I put JoJo second. But I know some people would switch that around and put JoJo as the best, then second Hunter x Hunter. But either way, you can't deny that the power system scaling for Black Clover is really, really high up there. I would have to give it 3rd or 4th spot, most definitely. But this was a really good episode. Can't wait for next week. If y'all seen the preview, you'll know what's to come. Manga readers, no spoilers, please. Let's just keep this spoiler free for those who are anime onlys. But yeah, next week is going to be very, very hype and very interesting, and I cannot wait. But that's all I have for you guys. Tell me down below what you like and didn't like about the episode and how you felt about it. How do you feel about Mereoleona and her power? And how do you feel about that new technique that we learned? I almost forgot. We learned about a technique called Mana Zone. Now, it wasn't really a lot explained in this episode, so I'm going to go in deep into it. But Mana Zone, basically, you have this area effect that you cast around you, and you can use all mana in that area zone to attack. So all the attacks that Mereoleona was doing, it wasn't just her own mana that's already powerful, it was actually the environment's mana that she was attacking with as well. And with Mana Zone, you can attack people from different angles and areas. And we also found out, thanks to Mimosa's dialogue, that Yuno can use Mana Zone when he's in his fairy mode. So that's pretty cool. And another thing that didn't get to mention in this episode is that Mana Zone, that's the attack version. There's another version of Mana Zone where you can sense, where you can still cast that barrier around you. But instead of using all the mana in there to attack with it, you can actually sense everything. And it makes things easier to dodge and move around. Which, it wasn't explained in this episode, but I wanted to explain both the two different versions. The assault version, which is the attack one, and the defense one, which a lot of people like to call it ultra instant mode, because that's technically how it works. Your body mana is connected to all the other mana around you, and you can kind of feel the area around. So, but yeah, Mana Zone is a really powerful technique. I just don't want y'all to get confused with Mana Zone thinking that it's Mana Skin, because Mana Skin is another completely different skill technique. Is not the same. Mana Skin is basically you summoning your mana to make a skin or armor. How they do in One Piece with Haki, or in Hunter x Hunter and JoJo with the aura. That's technically what Mana Skin is, just doing it with mana. Where Mana Zone, the offense and defense version, is completely different from that. So I just wanted to clarify that real quick. But again, that's all I have for you. Peace on, have a good one.